My name is Tyler Oglin. I'm the Environmental Monitoring Manager here at the Gordie Howe International Bridge. I'm responsible for everything environmental out here, from species at risk to different aspects of our environmental management system. Exclusion fencing is exactly what it sounds like. It's designed and built and manufactured to exclude different species, not just species at risk, but any species for that matter, from coming into a certain area. So in this case, we're excluding species from Black Oak Heritage Park from coming onto our construction site. So it borders all the way down Broadway Street, as you see here behind me. It's approximately 1.3 kilometers long, and it extends from the far east side all the way down to the Detroit River. So the fence is installed first by digging a trench. So in our case, it's 1 meter on either side of the existing chain link fence. It goes down approximately 15 inches. So the fence itself is installed about 20 centimeters down. Once that's been clipped onto the existing chain link, that just adds a lot of rigidity factor to that fence. It gives it something to adhere to. It's clipped in all the way down. That trench then gets backfilled. It gets compacted with a granular material. It actually gets mechanically compacted, and the reason for that is essentially it stops ground-bearing animals from being able to trench and dig their way through, which would provide easy access or pathways for other species in the area.
Hi, my name is Jillian Deman. I work for AECOM. For the Gordie Howe Bridge project, I'm a senior environmental advisor. So I help Tyler's team with anything wildlife related or species at risk related on the site. A species at risk is anything that's assessed as endangered or threatened under the Federal Species at Risk Act, as well as the Ontario Endangered Species Act. There's a whole variety of species at risk that live in this area, ranging from birds, insects, plants, and reptiles. The fence was specifically designed for eastern fox snake, which there's a known population of it in Black Oak Heritage Park here. The snake is a very adept climber, so it's known to actually climb trees to eat baby birds from their nest. So we had to consider that specifically when designing the fence, so that's why the height it's as tall as it is.
So the barrier itself is made from a four-season material. It's a rigid polymer matrix. It's actually 100% recyclable, which is kind of neat. The fencing itself is E60, so it's 60 inches or 5 feet tall. It's the largest fence that Urtec makes, and it's got an 8-inch lip on the top as well, which essentially stops any climbing species from getting their scales and whatnot entangled, and being able to give them a chance to climb. So they have a very difficult time climbing upside down underneath that lip. The fence itself excludes small vertebrates from our active construction site, and it controls their movement within a fragmented habitat. So unlike steel mesh, which would provide possibly a laceration hazard, this has got a plastic coating on it, which doesn't really have that type of risk. And unlike the plastic mesh that you typically see on something like a silt fence, there's no risk for entanglement for different species.
It's really important to protect species at risk because they contribute to the overall diversity of an area. If you have a habitat that's full of different types of species, it's generally more resilient to various things that could happen to it. If you had a habitat that had one type of species and something happened to it, it wouldn't be able to adapt as well as a habitat with many types of species. You stop and make sure the species is safe. You implement a 30-meter buffer around it, and then immediately notify the environmental team, and they'll handle whatever the species is, they'll handle the next steps.
Some other initiatives underway here at the Gordie Howe International Bridge include some fish habitat enhancements. That will be part of our seawall encapsulation work that will happen later on this year. Additionally, on a day-to-day basis, we have many policies and procedures to ensure that any species, not just species at risk, encountered during construction are handled appropriately and properly to maximize their safety. And all species captured here on site are relocated to their appropriate and proper areas.
I think it's so awesome to work on a project like this. It's just like a legacy project. I feel really honored to be part of it and to help guide it in terms of wildlife and species at risk. I think it's really awesome.
It's absolutely incredible. I get to work and interact with many talented and hardworking individuals from all over the world, so it's really nice to see everyone's background and see what other projects they've been a part of, and to put it all together on this is it's absolutely incredible. It's a legacy project that's not only in Windsor, my hometown, but it's almost in my backyard. So I get to come to work every day. I can basically see it from my home. My family, my wife, my kids, we can all see it, so I get to experience that with them too, and I think that's the most full circle moment for me, is being able to experience that with them at the same time.